States and minorities. What are their rights and how to secure them in the Constitution of Free India? By Babasaheb Ambedkar. Memorandum on the Safeguards for the Scheduled Castes submitted to the Constituent Assembly on behalf of the All India Scheduled Caste Federation. Published 1947. Preface. Soon after it became definite that the framing of the future Constitution of India was to be entrusted to a Constituent Assembly, the Working Committee of the All India Scheduled Castes Federation asked me to prepare a memorandum on the safeguards for the scheduled castes for being submitted to the Constituent Assembly on behalf of the Federation. I very gladly undertook the task. The results of my labor are contained in this brochure. The memorandum defines fundamental rights, minority rights, and safeguards for the scheduled castes. Those who hold the view that the scheduled castes are not a minority might say that in this matter I have gone beyond prescribed bounds. The view that the scheduled castes are not a minority is a new dispensation issued on behalf of the high and mighty Hindu majority, which the scheduled castes are asked to submit to. The spokesmen of the majority have not cared to define its scope and its meaning. Anyone with a fresh and free mind reading it as a general proposition would be justified in saying that it is capable of double interpretation. I interpret it to mean that the scheduled castes are more than a minority and that any protection given to the citizens and to the minorities will not be adequate for the scheduled castes. In other words, it means that their social, economic, and educational condition is so much worse than that of the citizens and other minorities that in addition to protection they would get as citizens and as minorities, the scheduled castes would require special safeguards against the tyranny and discrimination of the majority. The other interpretation is that the scheduled castes differ from a majority and a minority, and therefore they are not entitled to the protection which they can be claimed by a minority. This interpretation appears to be such unmitigated nonsense that no sane man need pay any attention to it. The scheduled castes must be excused if they ignored it. Those who accept my interpretation of the view that the scheduled castes are not a minority will, I am sure, agree with me that I am justified in demanding for the scheduled castes all the benefit of the fundamental rights, all the benefit of the provisions for the protection of the minorities, and in addition special safeguards. The memorandum was intended to be submitted to the Constituent Assembly. There was no intention to issue it to the public. But my caste Hindu friends who have the opportunity to read the transcript have pressed me to give it to a wider circulation. Although it is meant for members of the Constituent Assembly, I do not see any breach of decorum in making it available to the general public. I have therefore agreed to fall in line with their wishes. Instead of setting out my ideas in general terms, I have drafted the memorandum in the forms of articles of the Constitution. I am sure that for the sake of giving point and precision, this method will be found to be more helpful. For the benefit of the Working Committee of the Scheduled Caste Federation, I had prepared certain explanatory notes and other statistical material. As the notes and the statistical material are likely to be useful to the general reader, I have thought it better to print them along with the memorandum rather than keep them back. Among the many problems the Constituent Assembly has to face, there are two which are admittedly more difficult. One is the problem of the minorities and other is the problem of the Indian states. I have been a student of the problem of the Indian states and hold some definite and distinct views on the subject. It was my hope that the Constituent Assembly would elect me to the States Committee. Evidently, it has found men of superior caliber for the work. It may also be because I am one of those who are outside the tabernacle and therefore undesirable. I am not sorry to find myself left out. My only regret is that I have lost an opportunity to which I was looking forward for placing my views for the consideration of the committee. I have therefore chosen to do the next best thing, namely to incorporate them in this brochure along with the rights of citizens of minorities and of the scheduled castes so that a wider public may know that may value them for what they are worth and make use of them as it may deem fit. Rajgriha, Dadar, Bombay 14, B.R. Ambedkar, 15/3/47. The end.